Hi there, it's Leila, your edible gardening resource. I ran a 3-hour workshop last October for teachers with no gardening experience on how to teach your students how to grow food. And these video series, and this is number 9 out of 10, are chopped up from those 3 hours so that they become bite-sized, so that teachers that are very busy, they can watch on their own leisure and time online and learn. Last video, number 8, and by the way, all these videos, you can find them on this very YouTube channel. Video number 8, which was the last one, I started giving away the tips and tricks about my program, what I teach in my edible gardening program in schools, and why I teach it, so that you can take it and use it in your own classrooms and schools. In this video, I'm going to continue on that path, and after telling you all about what I teach and how I teach it and why I teach it, and we're going to talk about seeds and seed saving. Enjoy! In quotes, because this idea of weed is a huge mistake in our culture, in my opinion. Weeds, a lot of them are edible, and dandelions, for example, I'm sure you know that dandelions are edible. From the root to the flower, everything is in a dandelion is edible, and it's very nutritious, because dandelion is one of those weeds with taproot that we call them in permaculture, we call them dynamic accumulators. So these are the ones that go in the subsoil, so they go past the topsoil, they go into the subsoil, and they get a lot of the nutrients, different types of nutrients, and they bring it up, they make it available to the rest of the plants that have shallower roots on the topsoil, and into their leaves and everything. So when we eat them, they're very nutritious for us. They're very good for your garden. And weeds are the nature's way of protecting the soil. If you have bare soil somewhere that is exposed to all the elements in like the sun and the wind and the rain and all that, that soil can get washed away, the nutrients can get leached out of the soil pretty quickly. So what does nature do? It throws weeds at that spot. So the weeds come up and protect the soil. So they're very, very good things. Unfortunately, in our culture, because of the huge lawn worshipping culture, and the fact that we think that our lawns have to look perfect and no weeds are supposed to be there, and we spray them and pull them and all of that, our kids also learn that weeds are bad things. So I talk about weeds with them and try to, bring them around a little bit. It's very difficult because all the daddies and mommies are always, with very strong emotions, protecting their lawn from the weeds. But at least they hear a little bit of that, which helps. So it's all about planting those seeds in their minds. And even if there's big inhibitors in their home environment, my hope is that down in the future, down the road, these seeds are going to start, that I plant in their minds, are going to start sprouting, and hopefully that change everybody's life. Trees, very important. Well, I already have one full session about trees, although we don't plant any, but I do that. We all know why. Trees are very important. Local food. I do have some videos that I show them, and the concept of the more close the food to you, the better, and why. And depending on age group, you can adjust your lesson to their understanding, level of understanding. The earth, I always finish my program with the earth, because I think everything eventually goes there, and we conclude with the fact that if we want to protect ourselves, we have to protect the earth, or our habitat. So respecting nature, being friends with nature, and instead of being in fight with nature, work with nature. So so that it can help us. Any questions?
I just had a question about the potatoes.
Sure.
Is it possible to also save the seeds from the potatoes?
Sure.
For each year? And for many years, or after 3 years you
To keep one for 3 years?
No, like I heard, like then they cross-pollinate and you have to start start fresh from the company, or you just keep going.
That is a huge topic of its own. Not just potatoes, generally seeds. We are losing our seed diversity big time. Our food is actually reduced to very, very few species, which is horrible, in my opinion. Seed saving that I make sure that I include in my program is very important because we need to start keeping our own seeds. And a lot of the companies would like to enforce this idea.
Make it illegal.
First of all, that is a huge thing. Like Monsanto and those guys, to make it to patent the seed is a thing of its own. But a lot of seed companies would like you to think that if you grow your own plant and you harvest those seeds, those seeds quality is going to come down year after year. That is not necessarily the case.
Okay.
Actually, in some aspects, it's the other way around, because the seed that's produced in your own environment is used to your environment, so it grows better in your environment. If you take that seed and grow it somewhere else, it might not work as well as it would work in your environment. So those down generations. And when you're talking about pollination, you have to, if you are planning for saving seed, you have to know what types of vegetables you're growing in close proximity to each other, because they do cross-pollinate a lot of them.
Cord especially.
Right. And the seed that you get might not, most probably will not taste exactly as the parent plant, but you can control that by making sure you know what you're planting. For example, if you like a type of spinach, you really like the taste of that spinach, and you want that spinach to give you seeds so that you can keep planting it, make sure you do not plant any other type of spinach in the same area. And that would because they will cross-pollinate and their babies will have properties of both, and you don't know what you're going to end up with. So the next spinaches that you plant might not taste exactly like the spinach. With perennial plants, people do that by crafting instead of starting with seed. For example, when it comes to trees, apple trees and all that, because the apple that is produced by that tree is the apple that you're looking for. But if you take the seeds of that apple, because it's a cross-pollination between two different apples, you don't know what type of apple you're going to get from the second generation of the tree. So please consider saving your own seeds. But if you like certain type of plant, try to only plant that type. There are some plants that are in the same family and they do cross-pollinate, you might not think. For example, your zucchinis will cross-pollinate with your cucumbers. So you have to make sure that if you really like that type of zucchini or cucumber and you want to save the seeds so that you can have exactly the same type, then don't plant it. And if you go on the internet, you can find information on how far apart you should have them. Different plants have different properties when it comes to that. But I don't know. I hope I answered that.
Yes, definitely. So we can do it.
Yes, you can do it. Definitely do it. Definitely, because that is a perception that the companies would like you to have. That you have to keep going back to them and buy their seeds. Seed saving is fun. it's not easy for all of the plants. Like for your tomatoes, you have to ferment them, and it's hard.
Yeah.
But for some plants, like the ones that I showed you, like lettuce and those, it's very easy to harvest the seeds.
My tomato plants just always came back. I always had little plants coming back.
Volunteers.
That's awesome, and you can take them if they're way too close to each other, transplant them, space them. Yeah. Those are very good because they're very used to your environment. They usually grow strong.
How long do the seeds last? Like I think I heard that they only last like if you buy them. Like we always buy the heirloom plants or the organic ones, like the seeds. I'm sorry, organic seeds. I was told they only last a year, and that then you have
Some of them do. Like if you have corn, you have to use your corn seeds the same year.
You can't use
The second year it won't grow. But some other plants, usually most of the plants, like you have to go and find that information about that specific seed. Some seeds you can save for 2 years only. Some seeds like corn, sweet corn, you have to use them the first year. And some seeds you can keep them for 5 or even 10 or 15 years.
Can you freeze them?
I don't think so. The annual plants, like, so the tomatoes that come back, it's because they don't freeze to the extent that they will die. If you freeze them way too much, they will die. Because that's why they're annual, right? But there are some plants that are self-seeding, like your lettuce, for example. If you leave those seeds that have the fluff, the wings, and don't harvest them, it will self-seed and it will come back. So those seeds are fine if they're frozen. But there are some other seeds that will not be fine if they're frozen. And why would you want to freeze them?
No, it's just to preserve, because I read this on the news, because everything is whatever is happening in Syria about things and everything.
Right.
They have a boat in the Arctic, and they have so they have millions and millions of seeds to preserve food, and if anything happens, they know from together, right?
Right.
So that's why.
I don't think they froze them like to preserve them. They, I don't know.
They say it says it was frozen, so they had to take a few boxes of them to give back to Syria.
Right. There is a huge seed bank somewhere in Europe. I don't know exactly where it is, but
Yeah, it's Scandinavia.
that they're trying to preserve seeds. Seeds are usually easier than you think to preserve. They dry, and when they're dried, it's the little baby plant that keeps sleeping in that box until you make it wet, until you wake it up. So, or if it's a corn, for example, you can't keep it for long even if you freeze it. I don't think that would help it. But that's why the seeds get dry. Like your beans, for example, you keep them on the plant until they completely dry, and then you take them as seed. And they're very easy to preserve when they're dry. I've never heard about freezing them.
Is there a distributor that you would recommend? Like I know you can get the organic seeds from like in small amounts from some
Urban Harvest
urban harvest.
is the one that I go to when I don't have. OSC,
Yeah, that's
Ontario.
Those are in most of the garden centers.
Yeah, OSC is pretty good. I get my white mini clover seeds from them. I order it online. They have good seeds. Urban Harvest is very good.
Where is
Urban Harvest, they don't have, I don't think they have a shop. They're mostly distributor into different places. Like you can see a lot of their seeds in places like the Evergreen Brickworks, the Big Carrot downtown, the different places, and you can order online. So you can go to their website and then order a bunch of seeds all together, and they deliver it to you. Those guys are good. But if it says organic, go for it. And we would like to completely trust those certifications. Maybe we shouldn't, but we usually don't have enough information about every specific organic company or to be very precise in the decisions that we make. If it says organic on it, like even Canadian Tire, when they bring their seeds, they have organic and non-organic seeds. Always go for organic. Urban Harvest has a lot of heirloom. This was video number 9 out of 10, and after this video series, I still send out free reports, videos, and information on the same topic of teaching edible gardening in schools. Why do I do this? Why do I give out this information for free? Because I know that you guys are out there. I know that you want to bridge this gap of how to teach students how to grow their own food. In the curriculum, there's this huge gap that you want to bridge, but you don't know how, you don't know where to get started, or maybe you did start, but you didn't have a very positive experience. You have questions and there is nobody to answer them. You need support, and I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, please make sure that you send me an email back. And if your email address is not on my subscribers list, here's the link to it. Make sure you put it there so that we keep in touch, so that I can send you free information about and material about this topic, so that you can get started and you can get going. And I'll see you in the next video.